Imran Khan here for Seconds Out with the Sun columnist Colin Hart. Colin, a pleasure to see you in 2024. A pleasure to be speaking to you before what seems to be a colossus event in the form of Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Was this a fight you were expecting, though, Colin, heading into 2024?
No, I was not. I wasn't expecting Ngannou to fight Tyson Fury last year either. But it's happening, and if you say it's a big event, anything to do with Joshua and now Ngannou after what happened against Fury, and I have to be truthful, I thought Ngannou beat Fury. It was close, but on my scorecard, he was the winner. But of course, Ngannou should not be in the same ring technically with Joshua for obvious reasons. He's only had one fight under Queensberry rules, but he proved in that one fight he could be extremely dangerous. And so Joshua, having learned what happened against Fury, will be double careful.
Let's reflect on that, because I don't believe that we've actually spoke since Fury and Ngannou fought last year. Though that moment in the third when Tyson was sent toppling down to the canvas. We've seen Tyson rise from the canvas before, but this was very much an unexpected moment for someone who's seen boxing and so many strange things happen in boxing. Did that shock you?
Of course, I was watching it on television. I couldn't believe what I was watching, because we'd all read Ngannou off. Every boxing writer in the world said this fight should not be happening. I mean, it's very interesting. Eddie Hearn, who promotes Joshua, before the Fury fight, said Ngannou wasn't even fit to fight the Southern Area champion, Johnny Fisher. I might ask Eddie now, if he didn't think he could last 3 minutes with Fisher, how many seconds does he think he's going to last with Joshua?
Let's get into the fight then. Do you feel that Francis has the assets here to... Look, the circumstances of him being a surprise package are gone. So the tape is there of him in the boxing ring now. Does that favour Joshua with the comeback streak that he appears to be on, with the form coming into him again, heading into this fight? Should the favourite firmly be Joshua heading into this fight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, Ngannou isn't a boxer in the Queensberry sense of the rules, but he's proved if you're not very careful and he hits you on the chin, you're liable to get knocked out. So, Joshua's had the warning before he steps in the ring. He knows he daren't get careless. But I would think after 3 or 4 rounds, Ngannou will blow up against Joshua. I do believe that Fury was not 100% in that fight. I think he was complacent. I don't think he trained as diligently as he will for USYK. So, that was one of the factors why Ngannou produced that sensational punch in the third round.
Would a conclusive Joshua win against Ngannou change the perspective for a potential fight with Fury and AJ in the future?
No, I mean, I don't care what's going on and has been going on in Riyadh. The British fight fans, there's one fight they want to see above all others, and that is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. Now, if Fury comes through against USYK, and there's a doubt there in my mind, I don't know about in anybody else's mind, I think USYK has got a great chance of being the first one to beat Fury. Because I think Tyson is beginning the decline. He's been at it 15 years, and I don't think his mindset is what it was a few years ago. I think he's acting more like a celebrity than a boxer in his lifestyle with Netflix series, etc., etc. So, if Fury comes through against USYK and Joshua survives against Ngannou, which obviously I think he will, there is the possibility next autumn we could see the fight everybody in Britain wants to see, Fury against Joshua. The only problem, it could be back in Riyadh.
You would like to see that fight in the UK?
It deserves to be in UK, but money counts. And if they're going to make more money, in Saudi, that's where they'll go.
Colin, can you measure that for me? How close do you feel the fight between AJ and Fury, Fury and AJ, I should give the right respect there, in terms of the in-ring skill? Who do you feel the favour is in if those two get in the ring, given how Joshua's improved?
Well, on paper, at this moment, Fury would be favourite. Unless he looks bad against USYK, or of course he loses to USYK, the fight doesn't happen. The same way that Joshua's fight with Wilder went out the window when Wilder was beaten. So Fury would be the favourite if he looks good against USYK.
Do you stand impressed by AJ's renaissance in a way? People are saying and reflecting that he's back to the form of old, or is this a new version of Joshua we're seeing?
No, a lot of fuss was made by certain members of the media after he beat Otto Wallin. Come on, he did what he was expected to do. He stopped Wallin. I mean, who the hell is Wallin? With all due respect to him, he's not considered a top-class heavyweight. His claim to fame was by cutting Fury so badly he needed 47 stitches in the eye. That's his only claim to fame, but he was well beaten.
A lot of boxing fans would have been expecting Anthony Joshua to potentially be in the ring against Hrgovic or Zhang as opposed to Ngannou. Were you expecting that?
Well, it's a possibility because, again, boxing politics being what it is, the IBF have already said once that title is unified, they're taking the IBF title away from the winner to fight the guy from Croatia. So there's every chance to get a foot in the door with a title. Joshua could fight the Croatian, whose name I have difficulty saying, as you can gather. It's easy for me to say, the Croatian.
Filip Hrgovic. Yeah.
That's right.
Again, I've been seeing a lot of things come and go in the sport, and we're going to be seeing two heavyweights on the podium here. Two heavyweights in the form of Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have got together, have been shaking hands, have been pictured together. Has hell frozen over? Is it for the good of the sport?
I mean, it's good for the sport if they last as friends, because it could lead to all kinds of very good domestic fights. And, when you got two promoters pulling together for the benefit of British boxing, it'll be good for the sport. But being an old cynic, I just wonder how this love affair between Warren and Hearn will last.
Should have happened a long time ago.
Well, yes, but there was another famous feud in British boxing many years ago between two London promoters, Jack Solomons and Harry Levine, and their feud lasted 30 years and they never ever came together.
Should Francis Ngannou get the victory over Joshua, it would be a second victory for your book as he got the victory over Fury in your eyes. What's that saying about boxing, and what does it say about Francis Ngannou's prospects of maybe winning a title?
Well, I would then want to manage Ngannou.
Who wouldn't in that case?
Exactly. I mean, if he could knock out Joshua, I mean, it'd be the greatest upset since obviously Buster Douglas and Tyson, which was in 1990. It might even be a bigger upset because he'll be only in his second boxing match. I mean, I know he's a fighter, but he's not a boxer.
Finally, for me, you've got as well heavily rumoured on this card being Joe Parker versus Zhilei Zhang in a fight there. Do you know if that's materialising, and who was your favourite?
I don't know, but if I was Parker, I wouldn't want to know Mr. Zhang. He is the one that I think they would all fight shy of. He's a lot, as we found out with Joe Joyce, he's a lot better than we thought he was. I think he's a very, very serious contender for whoever's champion.
What of Wilder's prospects given his defeat to Parker and given his contentment outside of the ring now?
Well, I mean, having seen him, I was really surprised to see how bad he looked that night. He looked like he didn't really want to be there. But then, when you analyse Wilder right from the very beginning, his one great asset was that tremendous right hand punch. But when it came to boxing, he was always extremely crude. If you remember, the Cuban Ortiz was beating him easily, but then he ran into the right hand, and that was it. So, when reflection, Wilder was never great. He had this tremendous power in his right hand.
Well, I may not see you before Fury Usyk happens, so can I ask you to hang your hat on who wins the undisputed crown?
I'm going to stick my neck out. I've got a feeling in my gut that Usyk will be clever enough to get the decision over Fury.
Colin, great way to leave it. Looking forward to much more conversations in 2024. Great to see you in good health. Thank you so much for being Seconds Out, sir. Pleasure is all mine.